All right. Not really a question, but a nice comment from Greg. The chickens can bring down bears here in the area. So, yes, I would have to agree with that. Let's see. Coming in from Isaiah, what did you have to use for documents, etc., to prove your residency?
We used our purchase agreement for our house. Since we had officially purchased the house. That's what we used to get up through Canada.
Outstanding. All right, let's see. Let's go ahead and take a look at a question here from Brandon. What other areas would you recommend other than Palmer after traveling around?
Is this specific to buying a house or just like in general?
You know, let's just say in general. Let's say for visiting, and then like you're wanting to put roots down in this area as well.
So for visiting, I'm a huge fan of Homer. I think it's one of my favorite places on earth, if not the favorite. I think it's wonderful. And if it wasn't 6 hours away from an airport, I would convince us to move there. Cooper's Landing is beautiful. Whittier, we love. Yeah, Kenai. Yeah, I would say this.
We like Girdwood too, but we can't afford to live there. It's too fancy.
Yeah, I think Girdwood's like too good for most Alaskans, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, not our audience.
Yeah, I mean that really is, for those of you who aren't aware, it's the biggest. Well, I think it's like the only really like skiing resort in Alaska. It's not really my scene, but I think that's really the only one, and they can pretty much charge whatever they want. And yeah, the prices are just home prices there. If you can get like a 1,000 square foot lot, it's still going to be an arm and a leg. So it's a pretty competitive little market.
Yeah, and then from like, honestly, I recommend Palmer or Wasilla area, like the Matsu Valley for buying a home. It's an hour-ish drive to Anchorage if you want something down that way, but everything you would need and want is here, and it's beautiful with the mountains if you're willing to put up with wind on occasion. But I don't regret moving to this location at all, and there hasn't been a place yet where I'm like, well, maybe we should have done this instead.
No, we really like it here. There's homes for sale in the neighborhood. Contact Jamin.
Solid. Love it.
It's true, though.
So we got one coming in from Mr. Benjamin. What's the best adventures you've been on, and what are you most looking forward to in the upcoming year?
You first.
Me? So not everyone gets to see Denali, and unfortunately the road to get out there is still shut down and will be for, I think, at least a couple of years. So if you're in a helicopter, you're pretty much going to see it. But if you're on the ground, it's a little bit more difficult, more so now than normal. But our first try at seeing Denali, we got to see it from Talkeetna. And I think we did that whole trip in a day. So we left Palmer, drove to Talkeetna, explored the town, got some of the famous spinach bread, and we went out to the river and were able to see the actual peak of the mountain. And that was a pretty cool adventure. And we drove all the way back into Palmer that same day. So like that's, I think, a pretty big deal to do that in a day.
What's the spinach bread? I've never heard of that before.
Oh,
you guys are teaching me something new here. So yeah, what's the scoop on spinach bread?
It's the Talkeetna spinach bread. I don't know. They're in like the shiny trailer, and they do this really luxury flatbread that's made with spinach topping and stuff. It's excellent.
You can also get it at the state fair, but the line is down the block. It's definitely the biggest line at the state fair. But yeah, we get to Talkeetna for.
Huh. I have never heard it. Okay, I'm gonna have to actually really intentionally go find that out now.
Yeah, you're gonna have to.
Huh. Interesting. Okay. Meg, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Yeah. So Homer halibut fishing was probably the best adventure, and I know we've talked about that already. Most looking forward to this year. So we explored a ton of the South last year, so we're heading north this year. We have our first adventure, so we're going to take the train to Fairbanks in March. You can see the lights up there, kind of explore around Fairbanks, get some feel for the northern landscape, and then
now that Santa's done, we can go to the North Pole and see him.
Yeah, I imagine they're pretty busy and booked. leading up to December. So I bet you guys can still get some photos. So if you're trying to get ahead for like the Christmas card for next year, like here's your opportunity.
Absolutely. Thanks, Ben.
All right, coming in from Blessed Thistle Home Farmstead. How's the market now as compared to last year? More homes, land. I see stuff selling quickly now. So what we're seeing is that actually the market has not gone backwards. And I'm just letting you guys know real quick here. My battery is starting to run out a little bit. So tell you what, I'm going to let you guys go ahead and answer a question real quick as I change out my battery. That cool? And then I'll get back to this one. Okay. So coming in from Kimber Customs, how is the daylight in the summer? Are blackout shades a must? And I'm going to need you guys to talk on that for at least 3 minutes, okay? And go.
All right.
Okay. So I will say, before we moved, or once we told people we were coming up here, everyone's first question is, are you worried about the dark? And my answer was, I'm worried about the sunlight. And that has actually been, I think, the biggest adjustment for us. So working Central Standard Time, we need to be up at 4 o'clock in the morning to be at work at 5. And going to bed at a reasonable time is extraordinarily difficult because it is full daylight up until like 11 o'clock midnight. So yes, blackout shades are a must. It's one of the first things that we purchased here. We went through Blinds Unlimited, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, Blinds Unlimited, and they hand make everything, which is great. So it's custom to you can kind of see one behind Christopher there. Super awesome, but that took a lot longer than we had originally thought it would. So we went a couple of months and it was extraordinarily difficult. So yes, blackout shades, 100% a must. First thing you do.
Yeah. New construction home. There was nothing on the windows and I wasn't willing to put up anything permanent unless it was what I wanted. So we toughed it out, but we actually have the blind guy coming back tomorrow to measure the window in the bathroom. So what we noticed was when we keep our bathroom door shut in the summer, so there's no air conditioning in many, if not all of the houses up here in Alaska. So we had some 80-degree days this past summer, which was awesome. But that gets kind of warm in the room. So what we want to do is be able to leave our bathroom door open where we have a heat, or not heat exchanger, but an air exchanger that'll turn the air over, make it less stuffy. But we didn't put a block out shade on the window in the bathroom. So we're having that done. So now we can sleep all the way through in the summer.
Yeah.
Definitely a must.
Yeah, that's great having that air exchanger. And yeah, that's really a big point as well. If you're up here in Alaska in the summertime, there's going to be a couple days where it gets kind of toasty, which, oh my word, it was such a godsend for a little bit. So this past summer, we forget the first half of that summer was actually really hot and like really bright. And we forget because the second half was like the wettest summer we've ever had. So it was just raining nonstop is what it felt like. So it was just glorious for the first half and then kind of ended on not a great second half. But honestly, it was probably a good thing because, yeah, we were probably about to go up in flames. So it was probably a good thing we got that much rain.